Hello students, and nice to see you back, and let's continue our musical journey. Today we are going to talk about Puranderadasa. Puranderadasa, who lived between 1494 AD and 1564 AD. Puranderadasa was born to a pawnbroker Varadappa Nayak in Pandharpura in Karnataka. Varadappa Nayak and his wife Lakshmi Bai had been childless for several years, and finally, after praying to Lord Srinivasa of Tirupati, they had a son whom they called Srinivasa. Srinivasa Nayaka grew up and took over his father's business. Unlike his father, he was a miser, so much so that it is said that he even shied away from spending money on his father's treatment when the latter was ill. His wife Saraswati Bai, on the other hand, also gave in charity much to the displeasure of her husband. One day, Lord Vishnu, in the guise of a poor priest, visited Srinivas Nayaka's shop, asking for alms to perform the thread ceremony of his son. Srinivas Nayaka kept putting him off for 6 months. Finally, fed up with Brahmin's persistence, he gave him a fake coin that he played with as a child. Lord Vishnu, as the priest, then went to Nayaka's wife and narrated the pitiful story of how a miserly pawnbroker made him come to his shop every day for 6 months, only to give him a fake coin in the end. Saraswati Bai's heart melted, and she gave Brahmin her nose ring, which was a gift from her parents. The priest promptly took the nose ring back to Srinivas Nayaka's shop, asking to pawn it for money. The pawnbroker recognized it as his wife and, locking it up in his safe, hurried at home. He asked Saraswati Bai for her nose ring. Stuck with fear, Saraswati Bai locked herself in the kitchen and tried to swallow poison. Miraculously, the nose ring dropped from the heavens in her cup of poison, and she was able to show it to her husband. Puzzled, he returned to his shop and opened the safe, only to find that the nose ring in the safe had vanished. This made him realize that the priest was none other than Lord himself, and he felt extremely ashamed of his behavior. He recalled all the incident that had transpired in the previous 6 months and decided to renounce all material belongings and became a dasa, servant of God. Puranderadasa became a disciple of the great Vyasaraya, who titled him Purandara Vitthala, which became his signature, which he uses in all his compositions. In gratitude for this transformation in his life, he would later compose a song dedicated to his wife for having shown him the path to God. From that day onwards, he became a devotee of the Lord. The man who had turned away countless people away now himself went around collecting alms and living the life of a mendicant. He had an immense influence on Carnataki music and Kannada literature. Though initially a money lender and known to be a miser, Navakoti Narayan, as he was called, had a life-changing experience that caused him to give up all his riches and pursue a spiritual life. He became a disciple of Vyasaraya, who titled him Purandara Vitthala, which became his signature. He is said to have composed 4,75,000 songs in both Kannada and Sanskrit. In addition to these, other compositions attributed to him are Gajendra Moksham, Draupadi Vastrabharanam, Sudhrama Charitra, Bharateshwara. About 1,000 of his compositions have been handed down through the generations, and some of these actively sung today. However, the original tunes for many of these compositions have been lost to us. Puranderadasa realized the importance of teaching music and is responsible for systemizing the raga, tala, and prachara. He is credited with creating the building block for students of Carnatic music by formalizing the early music lessons. Swaravalis, Saptatala Alankaras, Pillari Gitas, etc. are and also choosing Maya Malav Gauda as the rag to be used for these. The famous Geetam, Sri Gananatha Malhari, is also attributed to him. It is incredible that even 4 centuries later, Purandaradasa's teaching models have been handed down to us with no variation. The Malhari Raga Gitas are ideal Dvidhata Prabandhas. Purandaradasa composition cover the following musical type: Kritis, Kirtana, Pada, Lavnis, Kandapada, Ubhoga, also Umabhoga, Bodha Budhika, among others. He also used Mishragati, Ratimala, and other rare musical models. Purandaradasa's Kriti is simple Kannada, use colloquial language, and are often set to folk ragas, thus being understood and remembered by the common man. He identified 84 ragas, including ragas such as Kalyani, Varali, Todi, Bhairavi, and Saveri, which are popular in use today. Being both a devotee and composer, Purandaradasa had a very strong influence on Tyagaraja, who praises him in Prahalada Bhakti Vijayam. For being a Vagyakara, Lakshanakara, and the founder of musical pedagogy, and given the enormous influence that he had on Karnataka music, musicologists called Purandaradasa the Sangeeta Pitamaha, grandfather of Carnatic music. The verse he sang were his own compositions on a variety of themes. Some of them described Sri Krishna's adventure in this world. Some others sang about the God's kindness to man. A few more verses were simple composition expounding the philosophy contained in the Vedas, Upanishad, and Bhagavad Gita in simple words. In yet other verses, Purandaradasa praises Lord Sri Krishna affectionately. In the same verse, Purandaradasa has even made fun of the Lord. His song, which preached surrender to the Vittala, have a distinct flavor, poetic fervor, extraordinary logic, as well as satire. Purandaradasa set the highest value on good conduct. The strength and greatness of Sri Hari's name have been beautifully enshrined and shrunk in this world. People who do not know Sanskrit find it hard to understand the Vedas and Upanishad. But Purandaradasa has successfully presented both the Upanishad and Puranas in his Devarnamams. The language of the Devarnama, though simple so as to be understood by the layman, contains lofty and sublime thoughts, beautiful similes, as well as thought-provoking proverbs. He conveyed through his songs that God was easily approachable by all, irrespective of his status or caste. He is to be remembered at all times, and our tongue is to be used to sing about his glory. He advocated offering simple worship within one's means and sincerity. He held the view that elaborate rituals or ostentatious worship without involvement was of no use. He was irked by intolerance of the people on the basis of caste discrimination, and other social ills. He would break out onto a song whenever anything bothered him. Purandaradasa's Devarnama are immensely popular among both dancers as well as musicians. The most popular kriti for dance including Chandrachuda, Shiva Shankara Parvati in Raga Malikai, Sharanu Siddhi Vinayak in Saurashtram, Neene Anta Bandhu in Maya Malav Gauda, Gajavadana Bedavu in Hamsadvani, Gummana Keyudari in Telang, ಎಂಥ ಚೆಲುವೆಗೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಸ್ತುತಿ on Shiva in Abheri, Adidanoranga in Arabi, Ada Hodale Mukkalu, Ada Hodale Mukkalu in Ragamalika, Bhagyada Lakshmi Baramma in Sri Raga, Mela Melanne Bandhane in Mohanam, Jagan Mohane Krishna in Ragmalika, among several others. His Ugabhoga verses in no rhythm are also very popular among both singers as well as dancers. The Ubabhogya Baliya Manege Vamana Bandate Aniyu Karedari Adi Mula Bandate and several more are used as prelude by musicians and dancers to Devarnamam. They give excellent scope to introduce stories from mythology and make for very interesting viewing and provide ample scope for histrionics. Several dancers have performed dance drama based on Puranderadasa's composition. Leela Samson with Kalakshetra troupe had staged Purandara Krishna. I had presented 13 of his compositions in Purandara Vaibhavam, a dance production staged for Shanmukhanand Fine Arts and Sangeet Sabha a year ago. His compositions can be presented as Varanam, Tillana, Padams and so on as they give ample scope for choreography. He practiced in his life what he preached. It is important to note that this aspect of his life, he gifted away all his wealth and lived the life of renunciation which he preached to others. Although he took to the life of renunciation and asceticism, he did not desert his wife and children. He lived with them. He made it clear to others by his conduct how it was possible to achieve purity of thought, words, and deed, regardless of caste, religion, or creed. He did not believe that man could be understood by God by mere external purity, unless it was accompanied by the purity of mind. He stayed in Hampi for many years. He shed his mortal coil on 2nd January 1564. Swathi Thirunal, 1813 to 1846. We continue our musical journey with Swathi Thirunal. Maharaja Swathi Thirunal was born in the Travancore royal family. Swathi Thirunal was deeply interested in music right from childhood. He learned the languages in which he found good music. Thus, Sanskrit, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Persian, Hindi and Marathi were taught to him, besides his mother tongue. His education in music started with the first lessons from Karnama Subramanyam Bhagavatar and Karnama Padmanabha Bhagavatar. Later, he studied music from his English teacher Subbarao. He continued to learn music by listening to accomplished musicians and practicing what he had imbibed. This was a period when music and art were thriving in many parts of South India. Swathi Thirunal's reputation as a patron of cultural activities attracted several musicians, dancers, and writers from all parts of India to his court. His palace was also a home to many musicians and artists of that period. The famous Tanjavur quartet with the four brothers Vadivelu, Ponnaya, Chinnaya, and Shivanandam, who were the disciples of Muthuswami Dikshityar. Subbakutti Ayya, an authority on Veena, Tyagaraj's disciple Kannaya Bhagavatar, Sadakala Govinda Marar, and many others graced his court. Vadivel was an expert in composition of dance form of music, and he collaborated with the Maharaja in his endeavor in this direction. He was also largely instrumental in the introduction of violin in Carnatic music, and the Maharaja presented him with a violin in ivory as a token of his appreciation. The Maharaja also learned Hindustani music and has to his credit several Drupad, Tappal, Tumri, and Khayal. Several of the compositions are in rare ragas. Under the patronage and encouragement of the Maharaja, Bharatnatyam won immense popularity among the people of Travancore. Several dancers came from Tanjavur in those days and settled down in Trivandrum, getting due encouragement from the palace. Hailed as a child prodigy, Swathi Thirunal started composing songs at a very young age of 16. By the age of 18, he took over the administration of the state and also started on the path to becoming an accomplished composer. He was a vocalist and a Vainika. Swathi Thirunal was not only a composer but a musicologist with a deep knowledge of science of music and Bharata's Natya Shastra. He was a poet par excellence. Among his literary works of high merit in Sanskrit may be mentioned Bhakti Manjari, the Snaya Parandara Purandara, and the Padmanabham Shataka, all of which have Lord Padmanabh as their theme. The Bhakti Manjari is a stotra modelled after Melaputhur Narayan Bharati Giri's Narayaniyam and comprises of one of the 1,000 verses divided in 10 shatakas of 100 verse each. The Shayana Rupa Prabandha is a kavya written in a mixture of verse and prose with traditional history of Sri Padmanabha Swami temple, and its best literary work of Swathi Thirunal is also a stotra addressed to Sri Padmanabh in 100 verse and is recited by the devotees inside the temple even today. The Ajam Pokhyana and the Kuchela Pokhyana are two other Sanskrit words of Swathi written in a mixture of verse and prose. They are intended for the use of exponents of Harikatha Kshepam. The sound education in music that Swathi Thirunal received in his boyhood led to the manifestation of his musical genius. As a devotee of Sri Padmanabh, he utilized his talent to sing the glories of the Lord. Kirtanas, about 200 in numbers, form the bulk of his musical compositions. All of them are in Sanskrit. In his Kriti, Swathi Thirunal used different mudras like Padmanabha, Jalajnabha, Sarasijanabha, and so on. He has composed over 400 Kritis. While his compositions are predominantly in Sanskrit, he also composed in other languages such as Mani Prabhavahana, Malayalam, and Sanskrit, and also a blend of some other languages, Telugu, Hindi, Malayalam, and Kannada. Compositions like Bhavayami Raghuramam, Deva Deva Kalyani, Bhogendra Shayaniyam, Krupaya Palaye Shauri have been very popular. He has also authored a book on theory of music, giving valuable information. Mention may also be made in the context of the two distinct groups of Kritis among Swathi Thirunal's composition. They are Navaratri Kirtanas and Navaratna Malika. The former comprises of 9 compositions which are to be sung at the main song on each of the 9 days of Navaratri festival, and they help to preserve the memory of Swathi Thirunal to this day. The Navaratna Malika is an anthology of 9 compositions, each of which is devoted to 9 forms of conventional devotion or bhakti. Swathi Thirunal gave Mohiniyattam a new dimension through specially written padams, which later became popular as Swathi Padams. Like some other compositions, Swathi Thirunal had a love of Bharatnatyam, which is reflected in some of the Varnams and Kriti. Swathi Thirunal has composed Swarajatis, Tillanas, Padams in substantial numbers. Some of his popular Varnams are Indumukhi in Rag Shankarabharanam set to Atatalam, Chale Mela in Rag Shankarabharanam and Atatalam, Sarasi Janabha in Atam set to Aditalam, amongst others. The Padavarnam Sumaya Shaksha in Karnataka Kapi is popular among dancers in his very challenging Varnam. A special feature of his Varnam is the introduction of Swaraksharas. He has composed 65 padams, Vala Patula Vasama in Atana in Telugu, Allasara Paratipapamu in Shruti in Manipravalam, Kandona Chenu in Nilambari in Malayalam, Soma Padamivine in Yadukula Kamboji in Sanskrit are some of the better known padams. Further, he is also said to have composed about 400 kritis in a number of ragas, primarily among them being Shankarabharanam, Kamboji, Todi, Bhairavi and Kalyani. He composed pieces in Sarangatna Malhari, Lalita Pancham, Dvijavanti, Gopika Vasantam, Ghanta and other rare and Rakti ragas. He has composed a large number of kritis in Madhyamakala and Vilambakala. Though the majority of these kirtanas are in praise of Vishnu, there are some in praise of other gods and goddesses like Shiva, Parvati, Lakshmi, Saraswati, Ganapati, Subramanyam, Hanuman as well. These compositions are a proof of Swathi Thirunal's Catholicity. In his kirtanas, the Maharaja uses Swaraksharas liberally. Most of the kirtanas of Swathi Thirunal are set to well-known ragas, but there are some rare ragas too, like Mohana Kalyani, which are his own original creations. He was adept in composing Rag Malika, Pannagendra Shayana and Kamalajasya, describing the 10 avatars of Vishnu being well known. In the two Rag Malikas, the Mukta Swara Prayog is introduced at the end, wherein the rare ragas are strung in the reverse order, ending with the ragas with which the piece starts. The Ramayana Kritis in Rag Malika, Bhavayami Raghuramam, has been very popular among dancers, as most parts of Ramayana can be shown through this Kriti. The Hindi song in praise of Lord Nataraja, Shankara Shrigiri, the Devi Kirtis, Mamava Sada Janani, the love song Chaliye Kunjamano, the Padavarnam, Sumusakya, the Dhanashri Tillana on Krishna, Geet Dhanikutile Dheema are some of the very popular compositions performed in Bharatnatyam. Another set of 12 kirtanas are composed in Manipravalam. This group is known as Utsava Prabandham. Among the musical description, the Utsava Prabandha stands out as the most important. It's a graphic description of the 10-day principal festival in Padmanabhiswami temple of Trivandrum. It contains 12 songs and 42 verses in different meters, most of them long. It is divided in 12 sections, each containing a song and a few verses. The first section is an introduction and the last a conclusion, and the remaining 10 are devoted to the description of the Utsava, one for each day. Many of the songs have only Pallavi and Charanas. The Charanas in most cases are 5 in number. The songs describing the 10th day's procession runs as a continuous narrative without division into the usual components. Among the ragas used are the rare Navarasam and Mangala Kaishiki. In 1839, Palghat Parmeshwara Bhagavatar, the chief Asthana Vidwan, sang the Prabandhas before a distinguished assembly in presence of the Maharaja. He was presented a pair of laced garment and a sum of rupees 300. The Nagaswaram players in the temple use these songs during festivals. During the night procession on the first day and the evening procession on other days, the particular songs for the day are played soon after Deep Aradhana ritual near the western entrance after the alapna of the concerned rag during deep aradhana in a prescribed pattern. In all, he possibly composed several hundred pieces of music in addition to literary works. This was done besides performing creditably his duties as a ruler, for while music was his passion, he had to pursue it amidst his duty as a ruler. His achievements are all the more remarkable for the short span of 30 years that he lived. However, since he was a ruler and had many musicians and composers at his court as well, many musicologists believe that the authorship of some of his composition is debatable. It is not certain how many were actually composed by him and whether some compositions were created by musicians at his court in his name. It is undeniable that Swathi Thirunal covered a wide range of languages, musical forms, raga, talas and content in his krutis. While his compositions have gained significant popularity among musicians, he does not appear to have had a similar inspirational effect on composition or on composers of succeeding generations as did the Trinity. A great scholar and a linguist endowed with rare artistic gifts, he was passionately devoted to arts and letters. But he always be remembered that his first and foremost duty as Sri Padmanabha Dasa, who was to look after the affairs of the state and promote the well-being of his subject. He died very young at the age of 34, and thus came a musical journey to an end. I hope you have enjoyed today's musical journey with us. Thank you.